Call the meeting to order of the Newbury Historical Commission, 7:15. All rise for pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I think that was the only thing I sent it.
Okay.
Agenda?
Both of them, I thought.
Everybody, please grab your minutes and review them from last month's meeting.
You didn't print my treasurer's report.
You didn't give me one.
Yeah, I sent it to you the other day. I said, here's the treasurer's report. When you guys were putting the budget together?
Oh, yeah, that was a while ago.
Oh, yeah, but it didn't change.
Oh,
Shoot, I should have printed.
I
didn't print
printed
anything
it.
out for
I
once.
printed it, but I did, it's not,
Yeah, okay.
I have a lot of things I didn't give you guys, so I didn't know it gets funky at me. Do we have a copy of it? I need to look up a few. They have to print out.
Anybody have any corrections, find any errors or omissions with the last month's minutes?
Didn't
Nope.
you?
I'll entertain a motion to accept them as written.
I move that we accept the minutes of the February 9th meeting as written.
Second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Done. All right, correspondence, short version.
We have some. Is that short enough?
Just give me the
Hang
condensed.
on a second.
Anything good?
I don't know, I can't find my own copy now. That means this one. Correspondence, right? Is that what you asked for?
Yes.
I'm like,
I know, you not having
I'm like-
agendas messed you all up.
I did, because I try not to be stupid. I failed in that mission. All right. I had this all in order until I went and copied it. Hang on, folks, sorry. We got an email from a Mr. John Cutton, and he said, "We just viewed your impressive Newbury 1635 website
It's funny because it's the old one.
and are traveling to the area in autumn," and he just wanted to know if there was any parking there and if they could, I told him there was parking and that we'd love to see you, and he said, "Thank you for your note, we look forward to it."
Lovely.
Are they going to the school
Yeah, because they saw our wonderful
website?
website.
Fabulous. It's good to know the old one's still working.
We got an email from Madison Blas, who is on the Lower Green Study Committee,
Okay.
and I had given her a copy of the Plumber's Stone, which is in the woods there, right past Tory Lane, So she sent it back, but I also asked her about the Dolittle house. And she said the shingles are called Certigrade Red Cedar Shingles #1, blue and perfections, and they're treated to be fire retardant. Just, that's what they put on there, just
That, yeah,
just so
okay.
you'd know,
Duly noted.
okay? Here's Lon, I just saw you a minute ago, Lon. You were here a minute ago. I've never been this discombobulated. And I was like, I can't. Here's Lon.
Good.
So Lon sent us an
Well, that
email on 3/2, well, this is the only one I have. With the budget, for information for the budget for next year, and information that the budget's still static on this year because we haven't done anything for a while, so. And then Channing made sure that the fiscal 2024 budget made it in.
That's gone to the, its assistant administrator.
Yeah, so that's done. So that's good. Then we have the Central Street Bridge thing.
Yep. So let's cover that under unfinished business.
And then we have emails from Rich, because he checked after the last flooding and put down aluminum pans, otherwise known as turkey pans, in the attic.
I brought them up
check
there,
them?
I didn't do
Yeah.
anything with them, I
It
just
hasn't
brought them up there.
rained
so-
probably.
Yeah.
When I was up there, I mean, everything's wet. All the beams, all the
Really?
cross beams. Yeah, I
Well,
sent pictures.
I showed you the pictures.
They're dark in color, Lon, but I was
No,
up
they
there.
were wet. I touched them. There was
I mean,
water.
I walked out there after that big downpour, and I touched the rafters and everything, and I didn't feel any
I
wet.
think it's the wind.
Yeah,
I think
okay.
that when
The
I went
wind was
out
blowing
there,
it up under
that's
the
what
shingles?
got the window
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
And
That makes
it's
sense.
blowing them up,
Yeah.
blowing up underneath.
it probably
Yeah.
depends. If it's coming from, like
Which
Lon's
direction?
house, it's
Yeah.
probably not a problem. But
Could
if it's
be
coming
directional,
from the,
too.
Yeah, if it's coming from the west.
from behind the schoolhouse
Yeah.
there, in
All right,
the,
let's do this under unfinished business.
Yeah.
so. I got an email from Dana Packer, Board of Select person, asking me questions about Town Hall. And he said the Town Hall is listed in the Upper Green Historic District National Archives. Does this have any significance when it comes to being demolished?
So,
And we went back and forth with a few questions, so I explained what that is. I sent him the difference between the two different kinds of, like a local historic district and a national registry district and things like that.
okay.
So, takes care of that piece. The solar guy. This is solar guy. Okay, all of this. And then you sent an email to Tracy about the alarm.
Yeah, we'll cover that under unfinished business.
And that's just for you because that's the house on the street.
Yep. It's not on my street, but it's close to me.
That was on Forest, on the corner of Forest.
Yeah, but I'm in Maine. I'm not in Forest.
Oh,
so which one is that?
okay, so,
The Goodrich House, which is like 3 in on the left on Forest.
Okay,
3?
yep,
2,
yep.
3. It's got a really beautiful like stone wall out front now, which is not shown in this picture. And that is allegedly Washington's bodyguard's house.
Oh,
So that's why we think he was in town, because of Goodrich. Did we ever confirm? Remember I saw somebody post that on their page about
Yeah.
not being able to confirm. That's
Yeah,
why I
well,
was
he went Boston Post Road to get to Newburyport, so that means he came through Governor Dummer.
Yeah, I totally see that.
So Governor Dummer being the only preparatory school in order to get into Harvard and I think it was Harvard and Princeton, was the only way you could get in. It was the most important preparatory school in America at that time. Surely George Washington drove across their doorstep. He would have stopped and had a meeting there in inspection or whatever transpired. But so
Right.
the answer to the question is, did George Washington come through Byfield? And the answer is yes.
Yeah.
So he came up through the behind the Jewel Mill, over the hill, down through the campus, out through the campus, over Thurlow Bridge, and up Middle Road. Would have been their path of travel for George Washington. So that's the first I heard about that. One of his guards on
Yeah,
Forest Street.
Yeah, it says it on the house, Oliver Goodrich House. I have a picture of it on my
Okay.
phone.
Yeah, there's a sign on the front of it, yeah.
Gorgeous house. The people that own Tropical Fine Foods, I believe, bought it from my friend's mom.
Uh-huh.
So it's somebody local, at least. It made me happy. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. So yeah, don't know if
Right.
they're
So
doing
we'll
yeah, it's a nice house. It's beautiful on the inside.
we'll table treasurer's report till next month.
Although
Yeah,
sure
I don't
nothing's
have a
changed,
copy.
right?
Okay.
Yes,
First
just
time I
read
didn't
the
bring a
email
copy of
with
it.
the information on it.
Because you've always
Okay.
got
But
duplicates.
he usually reads, no change.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no change.
So,
There's
all
no
right,
change.
so I'll go on. Committee reports. Website committee report.
Things are going well. I spoke to Matt today about different things about the future. It's not up yet. We haven't uploaded it yet. But I also talked to Jack about doing a section with his stuff, and he
Yeah.
said, of course, he would love to do it. He, of course, wants final approval, which I was like, obviously, it's going to be whatever you wrote. But I just got to figure out like where I'm going to put it within it, because I kind of want it to be like, I don't know if I want it to be just like a Jack blog within it, you know what I mean? So like that's why I'm trying to figure out how to add his pieces in without it being, like I'm just trying to figure out like a nice balance.
Without giving them a.
At your discretion.
Kind of,
Yeah.
or that's what I mean. It's like I don't want it to be a weird
But
secondary
we need to
spot,
capture that
but that I
information.
want all the, exactly, it's that like
So
happy
surely he
balance.
just did the thing about the mill and the bridge, and then 3 months later, we got the bridge company now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, exactly, and that's why I kind of want the map, so I want to kind of have the map and then be able to kind of pinpoint where all these things are too and kind of connect them. So that's kind of my next
okay.
big step here.
Do we have any other committee reports? Okay. On to unfinished business. Other unfinished business. All right, let's get some of the easy stuff out of the way. The roof on the schoolhouse. I have got as many as 4 different shingle companies that I am trying to, it's difficult because they all want to come and look at it and they want the work, but this has to go out to bid, and it's like, well, they don't want to come and do it ahead of time and find out that it's like, because it's municipal, it makes it extra difficult. So my plan is to get all their information, put it all in a folder, and hand it off to the facilities chief for the town.
Have them
And then, so I found, and just have them try to handle it.
Okay.
So to bring everybody up to speed, Lon, you weren't here last meeting.
Yeah.
It is not only my thoughts, but now a norm through the readings on Mass Historical that replacing cedar with cedar is not such a good idea anymore.
Mhm.
They may have done it on the house down by the river.
Yeah.
You can get western red cedar but it says right in there that it has to be treated on a regular basis, and the warranty is very short. So I'm looking at simulated cedar mill cut shingles not the Storybrooke Village curved Swiss chalet ones,
Yeah.
but looking just the same that's on there.
Yeah.
Trying to get the color, eventually they're gonna give us a color chart, and we're gonna have to pick the least worst, and it'll tone down over time.
Yeah, it'll change over time.
They're warranted for 50 years, 180 mile an hour winds. They're less than real shingles, less than cedar shingles, but more than asphalt. So that's my movement at this point with the roof. It's not, it's part of
I think they
the,
would last for the longevity of the building.
it's part of our, the facilities.
Yeah.
Facilities handles the building, even though we're in, it's like a condo. So as much, all we can do is give our wishes to facilities and say, this is what we want. I was up there last Saturday with a full load of snow on the roof. There was one wet spot way down in the corner. There is a lot of staining on there, so I think maybe you were right, maybe there has been other.
Well, it was wet when I
Yeah.
took these pictures.
Yeah.
But it was a wind rainstorm. It's
So-
enough to take out that window.
Yeah, and after, I went up after a downpour, but it was like a straight down,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
So, yes, the shingles are in bad shape, so it's gotta be done.
it's gotta be.
Hopefully they can step up to the game soon. I'm hoping to get all this pulled together and paper clipped and handed off to him and go, this is what I found, this is what we want, and do that. So,
Will they not honor that?
Yeah.
You think?
just putting that precursor in there, because once you feed it into the thing and say, they handle it.
Right.
So, I'm gonna say, this is what we want, this is a historic building, this is what we need to have on there. Hopefully, I'm gonna ask for a meeting with the facilities guy.
You
and
can't,
see-
you can't buy decent cedar anymore, is the problem.
Well, that, yeah,
No.
and that's,
It's just too soft.
it's pointless almost.
I shingled the side of my barn 10 years ago, and it's all just coming off, they're flying off.
Okay, so the roof is shakes and the walls are shingles?
No, roof is shingles, walls are shakes.
Okay.
In other parts of the country, you get on another website and they
Say
call
the
it,
opposite.
they call it
Because
shakes.
My roof had shakes on it. They were this thick,
Yeah,
they were this wide, and they were this long.
yeah.
And they go way up underneath each other, but they're good for 30, 40 years.
But I
Because
don't-
they bring this old cedar timber down from Canada,
Yeah.
in Seattle. But you can't
get
buy
it
it.
anymore.
That's, how many years ago?
Yeah.
So, I don't know the difference between shake and shingle. Is it horizontal and vertical? Is that the only difference?
Well, I
Well,
think
I call
you
it
corrected
shingles.
me the last
Back,
time.
on the West Coast, a shake is thickness.
Thickness.
It's thickness. It's split. Shingles are milled. They're cut.
Yeah.
They've got a straight edge on them
Yeah.
and stuff. These are
Split.
Hand split.
split and they're
Split.
rough. That's why they got to go so far in, because there's a lot of airspace in between.
So, that's that. On the same building, I was in and saw Omni Alarm this week. Our alarm is no longer, it doesn't work, even though it went off as soon as I walked in. So,
Went off.
I contacted the town administrator and asked how we get the Omni Alarm in and how is the billing done, because we'll obviously need a new alarm box and the cellular transponder. I didn't want that taken out of our budget, because we don't have that space in our budget. And the email came back and says, I'll have the facilities chief take care of it. He will be in touch with you. So,
We should, I would say to add a motion detector too,
Are we
if
gonna
we
have
could.
Wi-Fi?
On the
Or
inside.
is that not-
I don't think we need
Run
anything for
cellular.
windows,
Cellular?
but motion detector inside. So if somebody breaks a window and comes in.
do the windows have
No.
No,
contacts
it's
on
the
them?
door.
But
Lucky
nobody's
they
gonna
have
open the window. They're gonna break the window and go through it.
All right, so,
Nobody's gonna, it's like the door. Nobody's gonna open the door, it's locked.
so
They're gonna
we'll,
kick it, they're gonna
Yeah,
kick
to break
it
it.
through or break a window.
So hopefully I get to talk to the facilities guy about that too.
Yeah. Motion detector will pick up anybody that's inside.
Third thing on the
Including mice.
property, it looks like they're taking down the tree that's on the, would that be the west side of the
West side.
school?
That's- And why?
Is it,
It's
is it,
dead.
is the blue
It's pretty
ribbon,
well
is it,
dead.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, do you know what the color coding means? Take down?
did you
It's got a printed thing all over it, it's all run, so you can't read it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
but
I'm
that,
looking at
that
the
one
top
I
of it,
think
it's
said,
all dead.
I think that one said, the one right after the school, if you come in by Robin's house, you mean?
No, right next to the school.
Right next to the
Oh,
school.
that
take
one,
it
yeah,
out.
that looks little, that's
Yeah,
bad.
So-
Certainly has
Tim put
unhappy
a sign on that
branches.
like last August,
Yeah,
so.
Yeah.
yeah, I think it was like yellow, they're going down, and blue, they're taking parts off, but I can't be,
So can we send a letter to, I guess it's Surratt, the head of the DPW, still received the memo from us on the tree.
that would be the true warden.
No, I think the DPW's, I know the tree warden has the say, but he's not handling the work.
Oh, okay,
That we would like the tree, when they remove that tree, we want it replaced
Replaced.
with same or equivalent.
that part would probably be the true warden, but,
Okay.
But I got up and talked in his meeting and said, they said, why don't you make a plan for replacing them instead of for just cutting them down?
Right?
Then you could cut them down and replace them.
Well, we send a letter,
Just-
then it gets recorded that we've requested it.
Yeah.
Okay.
let me write now. Yeah,
Tell
having
me
a
when
bad
you're
enough
ready.
time.
Tell me when you're ready.
There was another tree on that driveway that had a sign on it too, but it was a trim sign.
That was the blue ones. That's down towards, what's his name's house?
Yeah, right.
Kenny?
Kenny's, right.
Yeah, thanks.
They got some bad times right now.
I have no idea because we don't work together, so I have no idea.
I'll tell you, I'm right.
Yeah.
Kenny's off.
Okay, sorry, thank
Okay.
you.
Same building, schoolhouse. The window, I briefly looked at the window. I'm pretty sure I can fix that, pull that together and reglaze it. I'll do it in the middle of the summer when it's dry out.
Can we, you looked at that other window,
Yeah,
did
that
you?
other
Yeah,
window.
you got it.
We might
was
be
pretty
able
close
to take
the
that
side.
out.
So-
It used to be on the other side of the thing.
That'll be our auxiliary plan,
Because you only got to trim about that much off,
Yeah.
what it
Yeah.
sounded like.
Yeah.
so either or,
Yeah.
one way or another, we can get that fixed.
The vertical things are so fragile and so
Yeah.
rotted.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I put pipe clamps on it, pull it together, tighten it up, reglaze it. If not, we'll use the other window. Once I get it on my workbench, I can tell. Okay, that's everything on the building. Do you have the Coleman Road, 15 Coleman Road? You want to do that now?
We'd like, sir.
Okay.
This one?
Yep.
No.
So last month it was an informal inquiry. Do we have a formal inquiry at this point?
No.
Okay.
I
What?
sent an email
This is it.
Yeah.
to the gentleman that's the solar guy, who is not the homeowner.
Yeah.
And I sent him several of them, and I even, against my better judgment, I emailed him. I texted him from my phone and said, we're having a meeting this Thursday. There's restrictions on this property. We need to have some plans or something. If you'd like to come, you're more than welcome. Let me know what you want to do. But he did not respond to my last 2 emails or my phone text. So I don't know whether he thought it was just not worth his energy and he walked or what. Because they don't have a work thing going on Permit Link yet either, so.
So.
But I just think we should just be prepared for the next round.
And they're doing a bunch of work on that house, including exterior work.
So how do we do, so is that still under control of the new development, or is that a new homeowner?
I think that's, it's
It's a new
separate.
homeowner.
I think it's,
New
yeah.
homeowner.
'Cause it was sold separate, wasn't it? It was like not part of the development.
No, because it's, the original homestead is owned now by Clifford and Sue Ann Hershey. That's who owns 15,
Yeah.
it's still 15 Coleman Road.
What's the date on the house, building?
1780.
Yeah. It's a beautiful house.
Did they
on the
turn
inside.
anything down off of it? Or they?
They're not allowed to.
I didn't get a real close look at what they were doing. I was trying to be a little inconspicuous
You
as
should
I'm
have
walking
been
around the
more
barn taking pictures.
Oh, there it is.
I would have been very conspicuous.
I
But,
walked through it when it was an open house before the development through, just to get the inside. I didn't take my camera though, that was before, I was, like, that was just when I was being nosy and
But
walking
it
through
looks
places.
like they've either, I wasn't familiar with the building before, but it looks like they're rebuilding like the little front porch.
I bet you they're
entryway
doing the
and-
kitchen, the kitchen needed to be redone.
Yeah,
The kitchen and the bathrooms and stuff. I'm
That's the
sure.
first thing we did on our house too, we put the porch
Okay.
back, the
Yep.
wraparound porch.
So, what do you think? I would think we should send a memo to Inspectional Services to flag 15 Coleman,
Mm.
I already did.
that we need to be involved with the discussion about solar panels. So,
Because
It's
I
a hard
mean,
one, you know, these days you want to say yes to solar panels, but then you got the historic,
well, they've got the barn, and it's because they want to put it
Yeah.
on the barn, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's good.
But-
And I
but the
showed
only-
it to Martha today, I talked to Martha too today, because I did my town hall run. And she's like,
No.
I mean, basically, if we would like to request that it's not seen from the street,
then they won't
it's
do
not
it.
on the wrong side of it's on the wrong side of the building, right?
Yeah,
It's just not
right.
They're
oriented.
not gonna put it on the northwest side of the building.
No,
no, no.
So,
And they're not interested in doing it on those little posts, what are those called when you're doing the
the
ground?
ground mounted
Yeah,
array.
there's no, you know what I mean, like, 'cause that's what I would think. It's the only other alternative
Well,
is to
you're
put them on the
putting
ground
black,
somewhere.
you're putting black things on a black roof.
Yeah, mine
So
hardly
it's,
show at all.
you know, and, you know, at some point we have to,
I
you
agree.
almost have to have a policy that says, you know,
Well-
unless it really detracts, we should be doing stuff that's green.
It sounds like a
I don't
slippery
know.
slope, though.
I know.
It's
Well,
been-
the
it's
thing
been
is, they're
bandied
like
around
they're gonna
already
become more
by-
natural looking.
Yeah.
Pretty soon
I
you'll
gave
just
you
lay the
some
roof on
stuff, yeah.
and
It'll
plug it
be
in.
part of the,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
like
And-
everything will be Tesla roofs.
Yeah.
Well,
Sure,
we'll
yeah.
just watch what Ipswich Historical does in their district, and we'll follow
I
that.
agree.
Well,
So,
I
yeah,
gave you
so
guys
Jan
this,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's,
Is this in the box?
National Alliance of Preservation Commissions,
No.
it's sample guidelines for
I do agree, they are
for
getting
Solar,
better.
how about solar in
Solar.
historic districts? So we can get a little, you know, idea of
Yeah.
what's going on out in the real world.
Yeah.
And
And those are not historic roofing materials,
Yeah, no.
for sure.
so, I mean, we probably want to come up with not tonight, but think about how we want to maybe word a response every time when this comes up. That this is our request, but in this case, Fieldstone Lane has restrictive covenants and easements on it. So the premises are also conveyed subject to the condition that the existing house and barn structures on said Lot 1 are to remain in place in their configuration, and all exterior and architectural features of both structures shall be maintained.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that's
see, like, I
really
feel
good.
like that's where,
The
line,
town,
you can't
through
do
its
it.
Yeah.
appropriate town boards and agencies, have the right to modify this. That's on the deed. So it's not like it's
Yeah.
questionable.
yeah.
So I have now a new folder. But on the plans, I think I gave you guys this too, just because it's a little thing.
In the deed section?
Did I give you the back page? I guess I didn't. I don't know.
Which one?
I'm losing my.
Fieldstone Lane, yeah.
They have a thing on the, I sent it to you, that shows the plans, and it says in the plans, it makes note of the certain color, and then it says in the plan description, it says, these are historic buildings, right in it, when Tom Z was doing the whole first time to present it. So, you know, so he was, in my personal opinion, with the developers that we've had, did I give you guys this residential open space thing? No?
Maybe,
Okay.
hold on.
Yeah,
So that shows the plot, and then it shows this little piece that I kind of copied and pasted.
Yep.
And it, so shows you the things that were, these yellowed ones are, say right here, yellow is historic structures.
Yeah.
So it's not like anybody didn't
They've
know.
been well aware of this from the beginning.
So at the
exactly.
bottom corner there, that's got the dotted lines,
Comical. Okay.
those three little structures that are there.
Well,
those
then
are
maybe
the
that's
historic
maybe why
structures.
they gave up on the, responding to you. So.
Well, I think he's not responding because he thought we were gonna just say, yeah, we don't care. But that could just be me.
Okay.
So
you-
that's that
You said
at
you were
this
already
moment.
memoed inspectional services?
I'd say no
I
on the
was in
house
today and talked
okay on the barn.
Told Chrissy what's going on and
I would
in case she
definitely
sees
know on the
anything,
house.
and I gave her another list of
So you can
houses
take them off.
that
It doesn't-
are
it's not a
I gave
permanent
you guys it
modification.
too, anything that's 1800s
It doesn't look
and
as obvious. in the
newer,
barn.
older.
Electric.
And I gave it to her, and she said she's gonna contact a new person at the permit, like, remember I told you one night we got a memo with a new name? And, she's gonna see if there's some way they can't tag street address numbers with things that should pop, with like a red flag or a color thing. So she's gonna work on that,
I like
and
that.
she's also talking to, the assessors, because someone told me, either it was in in the Mass Hist Press or something, or somewhere in one of the seminar things I took, that the assessor's office should be able to flag all the put a flag on houses too, so that when you look it up, you'll see this little flag, and then you say, oh, that's a historic house,
Right.
and it's, so when the other people use it to look things up, they can say, historic house, maybe we better be careful what we're doing with that, so she's gonna look into that. She's really gung-ho about making sure that we don't lose things that we shouldn't have to lose.
So shouldn't we still send a memo from this board
I
to
can
that
certainly
department?
do
So
that.
it's on paper? Just say, I already spoke to this about it, I'm just sending it in paper.
And exactly what do you want me to say?
To put a flag on 15 Coleman Road as far as permits for solar panels,
Okay, I just wanna make sure.
that there's a restriction on it and needs to go start with us.
I guess is we're gonna have 5 opinions on this. 6, sorry, even.
Well, because I think the biggest questions are, with all the things I saw in Mass Hist or whatever, it's, no, it's a historic structure, we can't touch anything, and then everybody's going, but this is the real world now. And
Yeah.
people, you can't tell people they can't save money on the electricity, but like no street view.
Right.
It's
Put
not a
them in the
permanent
back.
modification of the building, you can take them off.
Right.
It's not like tearing off a porch or taking a side building off the building.
Yeah.
It's putting something on. Now, it's certainly not historic.
It's
I
right,
mean-
it's changing the appearance.
It's just
and-
changing the appearance.
It's kind of like
Yeah.
a fine line. It's like, is it a dish for television? We wouldn't want that on the front of the house. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of, that's not permanent. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of.
Well, it's like, so I've got this big green area, green space, and I've got my choice. They can either put solar panels in or a housing development. I'd pick the solar panels, because you can pick them up and walk away with them. It'll be a housing development forever, because you're never gonna buy out 20 homeowners and then tear their buildings down.
I'm less concerned about this particular property, 15 Coleman Road, than I am about precedent.
Yeah.
And I think if we set the precedent that, well, this one's okay, that one's okay, this one's okay,
We need to have a
It's-
statement.
Yeah.
And-
Well, yeah.
But the statement's
That's
gotta
where-
give us a little wiggle room. And, this is our mission, this is our goal, and like on this one here, I just said that. I would hate to see him
Did
on
you
the
text you
house.
back?
I'm sorry, Eva.
Oh, no. Is she okay?
Well, it's historic commercial business. She just texted. I close all these things. I'm sorry I didn't get in touch earlier. I was going to try and attend the meeting, and then the hospital told me to call the funeral home. Sorry. That's so sad.
I was
So-
wondering, because she hadn't posted
Hadn't
anything in a
mentioned
few days.
Yeah, so that's why she's not here, and I knew she wasn't gonna be here, so Just very sad.
Sweet love.
So,
Okay.
okay, carry on.
Okay.
And
All
then I
right,
think
so-
we should draft a statement, just to have it in our books, we don't have to publish it.
Yeah, we have to have some
Some
sort of
some kind of
default at
guidance
least.
that
Well, I
we
think
have
we
for
should maybe
ourselves.
look at some stuff
Yeah,
and,
right.
then, bring that, a draft response.
But it's not gonna rear its head too many times, other than in a situation like this, because we don't control the outsides of structures in the town of Newbury.
No.
So this is because this has a preservation restriction on it now. So it'll only be, and even if they decided to put one on a historic house on High Road tomorrow, that doesn't go over our desk.
No.
Yeah.
So, I don't know that it will, but I'd rely on like Ipswich Historical and their district, and they're the most, I consider them the most advanced. So,
Now I want
What
to
if-
drive through their downtown and look at houses to see who's good.
But their whole thing is sight.
No, I know, that's what I'm
Sight.
saying. Can you
And-
see them?
And that will also affect the local historic district on the Lower Green. Sight.
yep,
And the biggest problems they
Yeah.
said in the meetings are corner houses,
Right.
you know. But if you want to put a,
Because, I mean, solar doesn't
if
care
you
about
want to
sight.
put
It
a,
wants the sunny spot.
75,000 square foot thing on the back of the house, as long as the front stays,
Yeah.
it's street view. And it's going to be the same thing down there. So if somebody wants to put a solar on one of the houses around the Lower Green, and if it does get accepted as a lower historic
Right.
district, it's got to be, whether it's the best place for it or
Well,
not,
if you
in the
make-
back of the house.
Well,
Yeah.
the local historic district will have to do the same thing we do. They'll have to have a statement.
yes.
See, that's
That they
it,
can
so-
say, here's our policy, here's what we do.
Yeah.
And there's some wiggle room down here at the end.
Well, wiggle room just ends you up in court,
I know.
so.
And if
Well,
this
it's either
guy
that or we'd
wiggles,
have
this
to
guy's
say
gonna
yes
wiggle,
or
and that
no.
guy's gonna
Yeah.
wiggle,
Say no
and
every
They'll all
time,
wait
or-
and
Yeah.
pull together to
Well,
do it
you
on
put-
pretty
purpose.
soon it's on,
Because
you know,
it goes
expensive
in
piece of
the,
fun.
it will go in the historic district's
Right.
rules and regulations.
Yeah.
There's no maybe or not maybe. It's like, you can't see it from the street. That's
If
it.
that's the way it's stated. It'll have to be, it'll be written down.
Because even when we went to that meeting that time, when
Yeah.
Chris Kelly was there,
Yep.
they talked about putting an addition on the house. As long as you can't see it from the street, nobody's telling you can't make your little teeny tiny cape into something big enough for
Yeah.
the 6 kids in your house.
Extend your kitchen out or whatever.
Go back,
Yeah.
where people can't see it from the street, so that when you drive through town, you see the historic nature of the town. But the world changes, but it doesn't have to change in the street. That's basically what it's all about. That's why they have all those neighborhood districts.
Right.
So that's
Okay.
basically it. So for us, if they have restrictions on properties, then that's where we should be tagged for it. But we just, I think at some point want to just, not tonight, but hash out a little idea of, like a standard response maybe for things. So we'll do that at another time after people maybe look stuff up and read stuff and get an idea of what the rest of the world is saying about it. So that would be my 2 cents.
Okay. Well, also you would find, when you do the research, the verbiage for the historic district, that would be a listserv thing to see what other historic districts have already done.
I'm not doing the historic district,
I am.
Okay.
just,
You can tell him how to do it.
I mean,
She's,
well,
she's in every meeting. I thought you'd be on the sidewalk today.
I was copying. That has nothing to do with the historical commission.
Right,
I mean,
Right.
basically, it's a
Yeah,
totally
it's
separate
standalone.
Next.
entity.
Yeah.
next.
So,
All right, on to the bridge, Central Street Bridge replacement. The gentleman contacted me and
Which bridge is this?
at the
By
dam.
you, right?
Right,
Right by
yeah.
you?
Yeah.
The falls.
Didn't they
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
replace that?
it's
No,
in-
they
it's
just
in the
did the
Bible.
railings.
I know,
don't
but I
anything
thought they
about
just
it.
replaced
No.
that.
Oh, we
They
don't.
just
No,
replaced
they did
Central Street.
they did my bridge over.
They just replaced Main Street Bridge,
Okay, which one are we doing?
Central.
Yeah.
So the one that goes over the falls,
So as you're going past the big fields,
Mantor
Manta
Field.
and
Field.
then you go past his house,
Yeah?
and then there's the bridge right there.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, where the fall sign is.
Yeah, I know it.
That
Now you
big
know.
sign, right? That's what it is,
That
right?
sign you
I
spent all
don't
that time
read,
getting
I
fixed.
drive when I go by, I don't need signs. I'm
So,
old, I can't do two things at once.
when the first communication came, I thought this was gonna be passive as far as our board, as just, my only interest was is to make sure he knew where the sleuthway was before they started digging and doing the project. He quickly turned around and asked me about the Historic Commission's involvement and what we would be requiring from them. I said, hold the phone, let's start this out officially, not with little emails going back and forth. So I sent him a business before the board form as he replied back.
And I replied, he sent it in his first email.
Okay, so he's officially contacted our board. Okay.
We had that.
Remember the one I said testing?
I remember the testing, that's as
So
far
when
as
is
I
this
got.
supposed to happen? This summer?
So this is just the preliminary, um, they're doing, it hasn't even gone out to bid.
Oh, all right.
So this is, I guess it's an engineering firm? Engineering firm. So they're doing the engineering for the project. It hasn't been funded.
Okay.
State has given matching grants. So it's still in the paper form at this point.
Okay.
So I asked him briefly about exactly, I said, well, our commission's never done a bridge before. Why don't you fill us in on the project? And he quickly emailed back that the bridge, they're not gonna destroy the under the bridge where it's masonry and rock. They're just gonna leave that, remove bridge,
Move
put
the deck.
another bridge
Yeah.
over that's long, call it longer, and then do the underpinnings behind the original. I don't know what they're gonna do, and it doesn't have anything to do with us, what they're gonna do about where the water is eroded underneath. It's undercut now, and the walls are collapsing. So I don't know what they're doing there, doesn't have anything to do with us. This was the first step. The fish ladder has nothing to do with us. He'll have to talk to the environmental fish people, whoever handles all that. And then if they're not touching the original structure of the bridge, then I don't see anything happening with us. There's nothing historic about the railing of the top deck. So as long as they don't put one of those giant Gloucester fences on top of it, I don't see anything else changing there. I wanted to make sure he knew where the sleuthway was, which is over 100 feet away from the original bridge. But just wanted to make sure there was no miscommunication, so they're moving the underpinnings back, they will be getting closer to it. So that is, what should the next step be? We should probably, so, did he send any correspondence with this form at all?
Because I couldn't, for any idea in my brain, wonder why he addressed it to you.
I do. I thought that was weird. I was like,
He
how
probably
did my
picked it up
name?
off the website or
Yeah.
something.
How did my name get on this?
So,
So I was like, do I know about this? No.
he's addressed it to her, and she said, we have a bridge replacement project in Central Street over Parker River. The Woolen Mill Dam and Fishway is adjacent to the site. Can you provide information and plans, if available, on the Fishway Dam structures
And was
under
that
the
the map
bridge.
that you were looking for that I sent back to you?
We are
Yeah.
looking to minimize any disturbances of the Fishway Dam. Any information you can provide is useful. Thank you. And I said to him, I forwarded it to you
Yeah.
because I have no idea what to do with that, so.
So,
And then you told me to tell him to sell the form, and I said to you, we already sent it. But
Okay.
see, we need to, now we've already gotten this twice.
yeah,
It's not useful.
what's wrong?
There isn't enough request on it.
Like, there's enough
It sounded
information?
great when we did it, like,
So, what do
there's-
you want to upgrade?
I mean, I don't know how you wanna, what we wanna do, but this was more for, I think originally when we planned on doing this was for people like real estate people and stuff asking us for stuff.
Yeah,
Or they're pulling a permit and we want information. But the information on this form asks if there's any deeded preservation restrictions, any deed information, did you contact any other boards or committees? It doesn't answer any of the questions you would have had about this bridge. So I thought
well, this
you
is just
might
the,
want to just,
no, this is,
this is the blank one, and if you want to, if you want to tinker with it a little, I can update it again. I mean, it's already been, it's easier to fix
Should we
it
have
than
like
it
a
is to create
miscellaneous
it.
part, so then like people can just type, you know, for areas that don't fit in above, you know what I mean? We'd like to add extra,
Other structures.
yeah.
well, property owner's name, I don't know why he filled in Fish Dam. It should say Town of Newbury, Massachusetts. And it should have, he should have filled in the address of the town hall. So, this is basically, so this is, that's the first step. I mean, if anybody wants to add anything to it, it's basically so we know who we're dealing with and we have a record-keeping system.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I'm just saying, because now we've gotten it twice.
Yeah.
Because the solar guy also filled it out,
Mhm.
but then we had like 800 questions because they're not giving us anything that,
So the solar guy needs to send us a letter, business letter to us with plans asking
I told him
for
that.
approval.
So I'm just saying, if we wanted to, now that we've done this twice and we still need more information, did we want to
Tweak it.
tweak it late going forward?
I don't, I'm completely with if you want to add something to it, but that's as far as I was starting it, wanted it to go so far.
Okay.
Just, you
Would
want
it-
to just
would it
add
be
like a
useful?
free text field with scope of work or something?
I'd say,
Yeah,
would it
that's
be
what I'm
useful to
wondering.
have
Just
a
like a-
project description or a scope of work?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So after you've read that, you'd say, here's the project they want to do.
yeah,
Yeah.
like, and explain to me spot, like an
Well, just
Yeah.
not
A
we
brief
don't want engineering
description
drawings or
of-
anything like that, just, in the back of my mind, I can say, oh, you're gonna put a new top on a bridge. You gotta take that
So,
off.
did the bridge guy send anything more than we're building a bridge? And that's it.
In that other email.
I asked
Got
him,
the other emails, but you didn't
no.
recognize them.
Yeah, we didn't really ask for what the project was.
No, I did.
Oh,
I-
you did in
no,
person?
I
Yeah,
did.
right.
I asked him
I
for
meant on the floor.
the project information
Yeah.
and what he was doing.
Well, then we'd be able to judge whether it's really under our purview
Yeah.
or not, or send it to somebody, you should go to such and such a person. Yeah, because that information, that just tells you who he is.
But that's what we wanted.
Right,
That's what we want.
Certainly.
That's
I
step,
just-
that's
so
step
That'd be
one.
nice.
Now,
should
because
also-
we've gotten 2 things with them filled out, and we
So-
still had to go back for more information, I'm just saying, did you want to just think about it now that
No, no,
we've used
I
it?
picture this as being the first piece of paper in every folder for every
Okay.
project.
I just want to throw it out.
Okay,
So,
not ask for a project description,
um,
to come back with it.
No,
Because you
so-
can just staple it on the back.
So
It's an
I will
email.
contact this guy and
it's email.
ask him for
more info.
what he's asking us.
Yeah.
Okay, I just,
They just send one sentence, it's like, what do you need from us? It's like,
Yeah, I know.
What do you mean, what do you need? You gotta give me a plan or
Well,
a
my favorite part
proposal.
was, they were asking the historical commission if we can send them plans on the structures.
Yeah, like we have old bridge structures kicking around. Is that
So we've got that one map from Jack.
right, but it doesn't have like bridge structures on it.
But that would be
That's it.
not the historical commission.
And ironically, the bridge is not the town of Newbury's. Well, originally the dam and the bridge belonged to the water department.
Did it really?
That's what Bill Pearson says. So, where the bench and stuff is still all the water department, and after the Mother's Day storm of,
2008?
4?
Mother's
What
Day
was that?
storm, when all the rocks blew down
Yeah.
the dam, the water department came and put all the rocks back up with their excavator. I stood there and watched them. So,
What year was- Is that a weed?
so I'll send another email to him to get it,
I
light a
was here,
fire
so
under him
It
and
would
get
be
the
after
information.
7.
After 7? Okay.
Well, my mother was still alive and she died in 2009. It was before her
Okay.
dying.
So,
Okay, so you're all right with the form the way it is?
Yep.
That's fine. I just wanted to check
Yep.
it, because now that we've had it twice, is it working for what we want?
yeah, so
Okay, then
anytime
filling it
any
out,
inquiries
which is
come
good.
in, first thing that gets the form.
It's on the web, I put it on the front page of our website that says, if you're requesting information, please fill out the form attached to the left.
And at some point, it'll be a system for us that says we processed 136 forms this year. Applications for a business before the board. So that's how busy we are.
It's good for me.
Really, is that, you guys can do that many?
No, I mean, that was a
Oh, I was
hypothetical.
gonna say, I'm like, that's amazing.
Yeah,
We're gonna be busy.
I know.
that's more like more visitors than we had at school.
Yeah,
So,
Okay, so that's good. So we'll leave it the way it is. They are using it. Both the solar guy and this guy
good,
actually filled out the form. I would.
okay.
Okay,
So
let's
that's
shut both
good.
projects down.
There you go with that.
All right, so do we have anything else, anybody yell out for any unfinished stuff tonight that we can whiz through? I don't have anything else on my list, and then we'll go to new business.
I'm still working on the Native American thing. I've been talking to Christine and Mary Ellen LaBianca.
Okay,
And actually, Mary Ellen has offered to do a final proof of my draft
Cool.
when it's done, so.
How
that
many
was-
sheets did you get from me that I emailed you? Remember, I took pictures of this report, this book I had?
I don't think I got those. Because I mentioned that book to Mary Ellen. She said she had never heard of it. She'd love to get copies of that first chapter. I don't think
They're
you
all on
sent
my
it.
phone. I'll just.
Yeah, resend them.
Yeah, I'll do
Because I'd
that.
like to get hold of them.
I know I was in the process of doing it, and I
Yep.
can't remember what stopped it.
Maybe your
The heart
surgery?
I can't remember, that's why I don't remember how long ago it was. I'd have to go
No, I
back
mean,
and check the
seriously.
No,
email.
it was relatively recently, so
I
I've
could,
been,
yeah, they're
your
in
health
here.
issues.
I could tell just by,
We won't hold it against
Here.
their lawn.
look, I've got all these pages.
Great.
Yeah. And it's a lot on the indigenous population that was here.
An interesting
And-
thing that came up when I started talking to Mary Ellen is, ever since I lived here, I thought that the original big settlement, big Native American settlement was on Indian Hill. It actually was closer to the Parker River. So between the Parker and the Middle River and near Old Town Hill.
Oh.
So conventional wisdom doesn't always fly.
Well, this is interesting in here because it talks about, I mean, we had the first landings and then,
Yep.
and basically passing on all of our diseases and
Mhm.
Do we have
decimating
markers
the
for
native population. But then they had another tribe that they had battles with.
Yeah, the
And they
Micmac.
came in and just wiped
Yeah.
everybody that was left out.
It was called, the British called it the Tarentine Wars, and it was
Yeah.
between the Micmac and the Pawtucket. And it was pretty devastating.
Yeah.
There were two die-offs because of disease.
Right.
And one of them, the second one was in 1619, it was called the Great Dying. And on top of all that, they had the war going on with the Micmac.
Yeah.
So, the populations were pretty badly devastated.
Yeah.
It's
So in
some
1635, there weren't a lot of people meeting them at the landing.
Well, and
No, but we did buy the land.
Yeah, well, yeah, Governor,
4 pounds,
Richard Dummer bought bought for £6.
6 pounds.
He bought 60 acres of land, which was then, that sale was contested by Old Will's grandchildren, and actually successfully contested in court. By that time, Sewell owned the land, but they never gave the land back to the Indians.
No.
And Masconomet, or Masconomo, or whichever way you want to pronounce it,
Yeah.
the big famous sale to Winthrop Jr. of Agawam, he turned around 4 years later and sold the same piece of land again to somebody else. And then he actually sold the same piece of land 3 times, which points to the fact that they didn't really understand all this deeding of
what that
lands and what it all
Right.
meant, you know?
Right.
So
Because
So-
they didn't own the land.
Didn't own
Right.
the land.
ownership of the land was not something that they were familiar, a
No.
concept that they,
They were too busy taking
Used.
care of it and
Yeah.
have, so they could survive.
So the Sewell land was everything west of the Parker River.
right.
Dummer was east of the Parker River, Sewell land was west.
So one of the Dummers later on sold some of the Dummer land to Sewell.
Uh-huh. Okay,
So when the grandchildren came to litigate, they litigated against Sewell.
okay. You're gonna get this all out?
Oh, yeah.
Map all this out?
Oh,
for us?
yeah.
I was gonna say, I have, like,
I got about 20,
images and
25
stuff, too.
pages.
I don't have a lot of images, I can get them.
Okay.
But I told Mary Ellen, because she's like, well, you don't want to leave this out, you don't want to leave that out. And I said, I'm going to try to keep it down to 5,000 words.
It's a lot, yeah.
You know?
I'm gonna bore people while there's like too much text.
Well,
yeah.
the thing-
There's gonna be a new tab.
I don't
No,
want,
I know,
I don't
yeah.
want to make the thing, I don't want to make the thing so big that nobody's going to read.
Yeah,
You know?
it should be,
Well, just chunk it
Yeah.
more,
Brief
you know what I
to
mean?
the
Like
point,
different,
but have
different
enough
sections.
information.
Yeah,
So that
well,
you can
that's-
go to different sections,
Yeah,
come
so-
back to it.
So the kind of thing I'm looking at this point is, people, settlements, treaties,
Cool.
deeds. that
Well,
kind
and
of
you could have something short in the front and have an appendix in the back that gives more detail
Yep.
too.
You know, and if you, I'd be even open to things like photographs of locations now.
Yep.
Things like that, just
Yep.
because, people love that crap.
And once you have a condensed version, it should go on to that regional report, the one with the green grass on the front of it.
Why not?
I mean, that's about this town.
Yeah.
Who's the curator of that?
I don't know.
the
Mass
regional
Historical?
board with the green grass on it?
The one, yeah, what are those things called?
I don't know, that's why I'm asking.
It's in my case here. It tells all the demographics of, not demographics, all the history, the brief history of the town.
Yeah, well, Newbury, whatever, where is it? Do you have it? I don't know.
Not easily pointed
Okay.
out. You know the one I mean.
Obviously,
You know
I
the thing.
don't,
That one.
because I have like 12 books at home, that's why. I have all the,
That's the master plan.
What's going on with that?
That doesn't have much in it.
No, we already submitted.
We did,
What we've done.
yeah.
but I feel like nobody else is,
Yeah.
That's why they need more people.
apparently.
because I brought that, I gave you all, I think, another copy of the solar thing from the governor there.
Yeah, this is the 70 Scotland Road.
Yeah, but every time solar comes up,
Newbury Reconnaissance Report.
oh, there you
So that
go.
a blind squirrel finds something once in a while.
Let me see,
So the green grass on the front.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
the
green.
green, yeah, because I, green grass on the front.
I did a great
And when was
job.
this produced? Oh, 2005, yeah.
So, but I think this is live. I mean, if he finished that, I didn't even know who Essex National Heritage Commission and Mass Department of Conservation and Recreation. So,
Well, it's good.
What's the name of it?
It'll go on our website regardless.
Okay.
okay.
Grazie. You'll notice that your name is written on that, so that means I gave it to you, so.
In your handwriting.
Yeah, it's nice how that works.
All right,
So
new
we're
business.
done with the bridge project.
Done with bridge.
Okay, let's see.
Okay.
You all have gotten an open meeting law sheet.
Yep, let's have that.
That's the one.
Which one?
It looks like this, but it's black and white
Do
for you
you
guys.
want me to sign it?
Yeah. You guys, I thought I sent it to you electronically. I may be incorrect, and I certainly can. It's also available on the state website if you want to read it.
But
It
we can
has
just give it to you, right?
not changed dramatically from the first time we all did this.
Should I sign this or no, down here, so print here?
Print here.
Newbury Historical Commission, that's what we're running, right?
Historical.
Historical.
310, 39,
Today's the ninth, isn't it?
23.
She's gonna send this out, like, when people are signing the book, and I was like, it's not the way it used to be done. So I just wanna get them all in there,
Yeah, no.
and then we don't have to worry about it. We have to do this every year. You guys did your conflict of interest, I hope?
Yep.
See,
What
those,
month- What month was that emailed to us?
it's supposed to be done before the end of February, I think. Do you need it
Why?
jogged?
Yes, please. It says name. You want signature?
Her signature here.
Yeah. Sign, name, date. I don't know why it's duplicated, but it
To make
is.
sure that we're sending
sure
our
you-
lives away.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
What was the other one? Sign.
Americans with Disabilities Act.
No, that's information. Remember I told you that there was a form for,
Mhm.
you guys were talking about the schoolhouse?
Schoolhouse accessibility.
Yeah. And I said there's a form for that. That's the form for that. Because
Well,
you
we're off the
can,
hook because it's not listed on anything.
you can get out of it if you don't comply with that thing, so. Just giving you info.
Let's wait till it's a local historic district. And then we can't add anything around the front of it.
Right.
I think it's solar panels.
Would that be on the new town hall? Probably.
Okay, all right. S-
Go ahead, sorry.
All right, subject matter 5 High Road. Ex-town hall structure.
You mean 25 High Road?
25 High Road? You're right. 25 High Road. Members that attended the last meeting or any of the meetings, is keeping this to historic question or answers. Is it, there hasn't been any official communication come before our board, correct, since last
No.
month?
No, I was told at the meeting that there will be.
Okay, so there will be communication.
Mhm.
Did we answer any questions at those meetings that were directed to us?
No,
Nobody asked us any questions at that meeting.
no.
The only person who requested any information was Dana,
Yeah,
and I read you that.
yeah,
And just like you, he sent me a copy of the historic district. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's on the
Thanks.
town website.
yeah. So.
No comments unless officially requested.
Yeah, so as
Yeah.
this whole thing goes forward by the book, everything comes through this table. No answering wild questions in the open field. Does anybody have any questions? Not that I have any answers or anything at this point.
I guess my only concern is that, like, what happens if they do try to push for the, demo? Like, what, do we just,
The demolition delay bylaw
Yeah.
kicks into gear.
well, that's what I mean, so what is our, what's our limit on that? Is that only 90 days, or should we?
It's,
9 months.
I'm sorry, 9 months? That's what I mean,
9
sorry,
months.
so,
Mike, so it'll fall under the 9 months. I brought up the question, are municipalities, remember when we talked about the pink house, is the federal government exempt from the demolition? Is state, local government, are they exempt from demolition delay bylaw? We may have to look into that. That's when people go, do they need a permit? In this case, as the demolition delay bylaw works, if there's nobody to rescue it, and there's no cause and no mission,
right,
then there's just 9 months of waiting. So I don't, there's,
After the forms have been properly filled out.
after 2 public hearings,
right.
the
Right.
forms,
Just so,
application process,
Could be longer than 9, but it's just, yeah.
so
All right, I'm just trying to
it will
prepare
follow.
myself almost for it.
I think I gave you all a copy of this.
Yep.
Just because we haven't looked at it in so long.
Yeah.
It should
Oh,
be-
I saw it.
Yeah.
I saw it.
I mean, I know you have stuff at home, but I just, in case it came up tonight,
We
you know,
have it here.
we have the form, and the reason I pulled them out is because there's another set of forms that I have to update the address on. It still says 25 High Road.
Okay.
So, because
Okay.
we've never had to use this particular thing since we created it, so.
So, yeah, so
So,
it's
and
if-
by the book. There's gonna be people asking us questions on the street, sending us emails.
Demolition delay bylaws on the Historical Commission's website,
Until-
on the town website.
Yeah.
Until somebody tells us otherwise, proceed as
Right.
written.
Thankfully,
We
nobody asked
have-
me questions I had.
Should we research whether or not the municipality has to obey their own law?
I am not getting anything from listserv that says, why are you even asking this? The town can do whatever they want. So, they're not saying that. So, it appears that if it's a town-owned if it's a building in town, it's a demolition delay bylaw kicks in.
Yeah.
Unless somebody tells me differently.
Right.
I can I will double check that again, but I have asked this question just to see what kind of a response I
Well,
get.
do they need a permit to tear the building down?
Why
I
wouldn't
mean,
they? Yeah.
do they need one? Forget everything else. Do they need it, or can they just tear it down? Do they have to get a permit to tear their own building down? If they do, our bylaw applies.
Yes,
That's the way I look at it.
yeah,
If they don't,
Well,
then
that's-
I don't know what to tell you,
yeah. So,
because we could find out the day after it's gone.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I
And
know.
if they have to apply for a permit,
Well, I think-
then we are on the list.
They're gonna need a DEP permit, and I don't think they get a DEP permit without a demolition permit, right?
These are all good questions.
Yeah,
A lot of,
Yeah.
when you go to do a lot of building now, you have to have, there's a whole set of forms you have to fill out, especially if you live on Plum Island. But it's standardized, a lot of it is standardized format. You have to, it has to go through the boards for approvals. So if you're doing something big.
well, they have to have a building permit.
Yeah.
They have to do, first step of the building permit is the demolition permit, and then it does this.
It's the right forms in the file cabinet, which sometimes
Right.
isn't the case. We're on that list.
All right.
We're on the piece of
So,
Idiot.
as far as we
No chatting.
as far as the
Yeah.
structure, some folklore say that it burned to the ground, some folklore said it was a 2-story building.
Right.
Jack has printed out, and I don't want him getting mad, he showed us, and so we've seen a bunch of that.
Don't we have pictures of
I've got a
that in there?
photograph of
Okay,
this
so-
2-story building,
Yeah.
at least that's entitled,
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We got the picture.
The Grange Hall.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
However, We have 2 books out, both for sale at the town, at the library, at the schoolhouse,
Okay.
okay? And they both say different things.
That's what I was about to get to, yes.
So, oh, sorry.
So-
So, the National Registry District says, on the, you know,
The property description.
the whole thing of the National Historic Registry. It says, Town Hall was originally built the early part of the 20th century as the Town Grange, was remodeled to its present state after fire, which gives you to believe they worked with the building that existed, which, according to other things, the entire structure was gone. In 1927, this one-story structure with single exterior, projecting entrance, portico, main, well, it was essentially vernacular, so that, but that's one explanation. There's a postcard on eBay that shows that and says, formerly located on the site of today's town hall, the Newbury Grange was destroyed by fire in 1927. That part's consistently correct. The replacement building was sold to the town in 1937 for use as a town hall. So where did that come from? In 1938, the old town hall building on Middle Road was sold and moved to the Littlefield Farm where it remains. We know that for a fact. And then on the Images of America book that just came out that the HIST produced, it says, there's a photo, a 1910 photo of the original Grange Hall. The building served as a community meeting and space and center of activities until it burned in 1927. The replacement for this building was sold to the town. Again, it's the same. So where did that building come from?
It was 10 years to build it.
It's like, it burned, there's a new building. Where did it come from? So I'm trying to find out.
Well, you remember what Nancy said. Top burned off, and then they just shortened it 1 story and made it a 1-story building.
Yeah, except
And that would be consistent with what they said about the remodel. You don't remodel a hole in the ground.
But if they owned it in 1927 and it burned, how could they buy it back in 37, rebuilt? If they owned it, you wouldn't be buying it back. So they
They
must
had to have
have,
sold it at one point.
sold it or lost possession of it. Somebody
because
made,
they created a new, they redid the Grange Hall, then the Grange Hall then became Town Hall. That's like,
So when it was the
But it's
Grange
been
Hall, it
sold
didn't belong to the
to-
town.
no, it
Belonged
belonged to
to
the
the Grange.
Grange.
sold to the town in 37.
The replacement building.
Right,
The Grange Hall was destroyed.
right. And,
That's what it says
but
on the
they owned it, but
postcard.
they owned the Grange Hall.
They
Who's
didn't.
they?
The town.
The town.
No,
They
they
didn't.
don't. The Grange owned it. Like, the
Oh.
town doesn't own a church.
Then-
The church owns it.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah. It's the
I'm
same
happy.
way with the cemeteries. The only one we own as a town
Okay.
is the
Well,
first
then I would-
settlers.
Then I would guess that
The
the
two over
Grange
here are
must have
not
rebuilt
ours.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's, and it's,
the Grange rebuilt it
and then I
sometime
read,
in that 10-year
something
period.
else, now I cannot find it again, I knew I should have printed it right then and there, that said the town, the replacement for the Grange Hall was then removed and placed on Rolf Slag.
Right.
So then what's that?
They're really into moving around houses back then.
Well,
Yeah,
because,
They moved a lot of
It's
them. It was like
amazing.
luggage. They
Yeah.
had oxen, they
Yeah.
just put it up on
When people
wheels.
said they were moving, they took the house.
It's a,
Yeah.
blows my mind.
Yeah, Joy next to us, just her.
Her house was
Not,
moved?
well, the Doles owned it, but somebody bought it in between. And when they left, they took the house with them.
It's amazing.
And then the Doles bought it back, so it was back in the Dole name again. And then they brought a house back in, and that's Joy's, that's the house that's there now. And it was too wide, so they put it sideways on the property. That's in one of the books I read. That's, maybe in that
Can you
thing for
turn it
the
once?
sons
Yeah.
and daughters.
turn that
I like the
a
view
little
over
to the
there.
left, I like it better this way.
And down in Mill Village, around the dam, there was, I think we counted out 38 houses there,
Which is, again,
which is
how do
like,
you
had to have
fit?
been, they had to have been very small houses. But they just picked them up and rolled them up Central Street and just kept plopping them along Central Street. And
Well,
that's
there's
how
a
it
picture, I
happened.
think, on the website and I could be mistaken, showing a house being floated down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Barge.
being barged.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was
Yeah, I
barged.
mean-
That I can understand.
Because
I
you
just
didn't
imagining the
waste.
horses and stuff pulling them around.
Things weren't wasted. They kept going.
Our house was remodeled and expanded on when Dole bought the salt production facility, tore that down, brought the wood over, and built the back of the house, the side of the house, and the barn. Which
Cool
is,
stuff.
barn is gone now.
Anybody else have business before the board tonight?
I have some stuff, I have something for you.
Okay.
As I'm cleaning through my
Oh, I have one more thing.
200 years of collection. This is from 2016.
Okay.
A woman named Kathleen Murray was going back and forth with questions
Oh wait, I just
about-
noticed that.
Yeah.
Flipping through here.
So I gave you a copy of it
Yeah.
because it's about the
To add stuff.
Starling Burgess.
Okay.
Um,
Right here.
Because there's a little snippet in the, there was a little snippet on our website, and there's a little snippet in the Nancy Weir book, I think. But she gave a whole lot more
All right. So
information
just
here,
add
which
add
was
to it.
really interesting.
Okay.
I mean, he was a yacht designer and his partner were pioneers in aviation, and she's got a quote, she quotes what book she took it out of, and I
Awesome.
never even heard of this book, 100 Years of Aviation at Plum Island.
Wow.
I mean,
Cool.
we should
Check that
probably
one
try to
out.
get that one and put it down at
Yeah.
Schoolhouse or something.
Let me look it up.
And so that was, I figured you'd be interested in
No,
that
100%.
for the thing. I don't think I have anything else.
Okay.
I am working on.
I have one more thing.
Lon,
Just to let you know, our town flag and our US flag need to be replaced. The US flag is literally in tatters. It's,
We already
ribbed.
did that and gave you permission.
oh, you did that? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
okay. I'm just
go
gonna buy
ahead.
it. Yeah.
Don't you remember that conversation? You may not have been here.
I wasn't here. Okay.
So
take
you can
whatever action's
Yeah,
needed.
yeah,
replace
I
them.
got,
Yeah, because you said you saw them at the
They were,
library.
I bought one at the library,
Yeah.
65 bucks for the
I
big
think
one.
that was like the meeting right before you went.
yeah. Oh, did you buy it for the school?
No, I bought for my
Oh, for
house.
yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I'll get it. At the library?
Yep.
Okay, I'll buy that one, and then I'll order the same flag I got last time. That did well. I
Yep.
got that for 5
And
years.
you'll stow the Christmas lights soon?
Oh, you did already.
Oh, good.
Did it today.
We still have a tree here, though.
Did you see all the cracks that's right by where the tables are and the?
Yeah, there's no stains on them. That's just old housey cracks.
I get it, but that's why I want, is that the
Standalone
copy or
Plum
the
Island.
original?
That one looks interesting.
This is the original.
Did you make a copy for
No.
me?
I couldn't find it. I found it. It's not.
Okay, then I'm gonna,
What I want to do is, I think, and rather than making a copy, I'm just going to have it digitized. If I'm going to have a copy made, and you got to take the sheets out, let's just digitize it, and then I can hit print, and I'll have a copy. And then I can put the rest of it, you can put back on, put on the website or anything.
okay, because I want to be able to, for us to utilize that to repair the inside of the schoolhouse.
How do you repair the inside of the schoolhouse with this?
Well, just having all of
Because it
the,
should give us the information of what they used when they redid it all.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
and all the
That,
drawings
this
and
is
stuff.
the bringing it
Yeah.
back
Right,
for the bicentennial.
right.
So it's a historic building. So
Yeah,
if,
no,
I'm
it's drawings,
assuming that
too.
they're gonna tell you what kind of paints and stuff they used, and,
I'd
I mean, we have to fix ceiling, the walls,
be surprised.
you know, so, I mean, I'd like to try to stay as good,
Yeah,
at least replace what's on there possibly,
yeah.
considering that it's been so many years now, but still,
So here's painting, here we go.
see?
It's in the repainted interior wood trim, blah, 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 sandwich and finished custom.
Oh, we're gonna have to have a pressure washing party.
Ooh,
For the back
And
wall.
how do you do that when we don't have water?
Oh, we'll run a really long hose from his house.
I mean, does the DPW have one of those things?
One of those tanks.
Yeah, because I know they
They already
cleaned,
did it once.
they did it once,
Now
about
the
two
whole
or
place
3
needs it.
years
I don't
ago.
understand.
But,
Yeah, you gotta do it like every 5 years
but
or
it's
so.
because of the
Gets
water,
messy.
with the, in the back, and did you notice that there is a window framed?
Yep.
Yeah. Where the lilies are, it keeps hitting and splashing when it rains, so that it's, you know, gets the mold growing on the side of the building again. So how do we do that? I'll send an email to James.
Well, don't overload them. You've already given them 4 things.
Well, not now. I mean,
It's gonna have to be in the summertime. anyway.
Yeah.
you know, like the end of April, beginning of May, I'm gonna request the road get fixed again and that we get this
Yeah,
thing
it's so
done.
dippy.
Yeah.
Snowplow ripped it all up,
Here
too.
you go. Color tar, Pittsburgh Paints.
That was an assumption. So it doesn't always make an ass out of you and me.
All right, so that's the building manual for building the schoolhouse.
That's,
Well, it's got all the what do you call it, drawings
Yeah,
and
everything's,
stuff.
everything's in it.
It's a good thing.
And the seating even,
Yeah.
and there wasn't as many chairs as they thought
Here's
they'd
my
have.
meeting from.
All right,
We good?
Wait
And
a
I get,
second.
Yep.
just one more thing, I somehow found myself on the committee for Newbury Town Day. Town Day is gonna be the 26th of August.
Ooh, August this year.
Yeah.
Because wasn't it June?
Well, they
last
decided that they did June, and they decided they get a better turnout in late August because kids are coming back, you know,
time?
people are not on
To
vacation.
school. So, wait, August 26th. Okay, so basically the last weekend of August.
Yep.
Shoot.
Awesome. Put that in my
Man.
calendar now, so I just block it out. Newbury Day.
What was the date again?
26th of August.
Oh, it's the day after I get back.
Safe.
Maybe I'm okay,
Lovely. So we're gonna park in your driveway regardless.
I think. Yeah, you can do
That's
that.
what we did last time.
I can't remember, I've got reservations for 2024 too. One of them starts on the 20th.
I have reservations for next week.
I know, I was gonna say, the fact that I have something in August already is blowing my mind, because I've never had it. Alright, are we good?
all right,
I think
I
that's it.
entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
Second,
Second?
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.